Well, hello, and welcome to Stop, Let's Team Ups, my Legion adventure number 6, where we are going to go back and read another Supergirl adventure. It's her second tryout with the Legion in this issue. Let me go to some pertinent facts from the official Legion Superheroes Index from ICG, a great tool for an old man with not the best bandwidth and memory for data. So we are in reading the Supergirl story from Action Comics, number 276 from May 1961. Cover is a lovely Kurt Swan. A lot of little Superman throwing things at Supergirl. First story is called The War Between Supergirl and the Superman Emergency Squad, which I did not read because I'm just reading Legion stuff. But it's got some Wayne Boring art, so I'd have been all on board on that. But we're going to go to the second story, which is the Legion Tangent story, which is Supergirl's 3 Supergirl Friends. Editor plotter, Mort Weisinger. Plotter scripter, Jerry Siegel, creator of Superman. Penciler inker, Jim Mooney. Letterer, John Letteries. I'm going to have to look up John Letteries and just do an episode where we talk about his lettering, just because it's good. But I've never heard of this guy, and I want to get to know him because he's doing a lot of these. So letterers are important. There are great letterers. It is a pretty comic. I may have been a little bit more of a Jim Mooney doubter last issue of Supergirl we read, but you know what? I'm digging it. And they gave this a good slow read, and I really dug his art in this one. But they come back, Triplicate Girl, Phantom Girl, and Saturn Queen go back to recruit Supergirl again. And here's the little synopsis for the story from this wonderful magazine. Here we go. 1 year after the first meeting the Legion, Supergirl is once again invited to try out for membership. In the 30th century, she is told the new rules allow 2 members to join each year, and meets several other applicants, including Brianiac Five, the descendant of the original Brainiac, one of Superman's greatest foes. She distrusts him, until after her own initiation test, he risks his life by giving her his force field belt to protect her from the giant kryptonite meteor. Along with Brainiac 5, who allows her to keep the belt, Supergirl's inducted into the Legion. She returns home confident that she'll never have to worry about kryptonite again. However, an explosion damages the belt beyond repair, and she is vulnerable once more. Nice 12-page story. The Legion roll call in that is Cosmic Boy, Saturn Girl, Lightning Lad, Triplicate Girl. This is her first adventure. Her last chronological appearance behind the scenes is in the flashback of Superboy story in Adventure 282. Next time she picks up is Adventure 247. That makes no sense. Well, never mind that. Phantom Girl's first appearance. We find out later in the history of the Legion that the first 2 recruits were Triplicate Girl and Phantom Girl. All right. Chameleon Boy, Colossal Boy, Brainiac 5 inducted. First appearance as Legionnaire. Shrinking Violet, first appearance. Sun Boy is in this issue. And Bouncing Boy. So, and we also get to see Lori Lamaris and Jarrow, Supergirl's other boyfriend. Crypto, the Superdog, a little cute little comedic moment with him. I would say that I was a little more impressed with... I like this story. I enjoyed it. It is dated. I don't want to say dated. Dated's a bad word. It is reflective of its time. This kind of storytelling is not something that really... Comics aren't written this way anymore. Audiences are different. I did like this one. It would not be written today. It doesn't pass the Bechdel test, and you have girls, the female characters, talking about boyfriends and things. Just for a moment, it doesn't become a romance comic or anything. The characterizations are so typical of the time. It could take you out of it. Doesn't in me. It did with me for a moment. I was remembering this story wrong. I was thinking of it more just another rehash of Adventure 247, and it wasn't as deep. But that was my memory of it, because I haven't. I'm like I've been saying, I haven't read these early ones in at least 2 decades. I enjoyed it. It is a good Supergirl story for this time period. The art is very good. Jim Mooney does a really good job. It's lovely, and I really kind of paid a close attention to it in the archives, because they stick to the. For the most part, I get the feel it looks as like I would have seen it if I was reading it in 1961. The color palette, it's and I like it. It's a lot of fun. It's bright. It's that early 60s DC science fiction kind of stuff going on. I like the bit with Supergirl and Brainiac. I don't remember, when I was a kid, it was always things that they were in love. They were a boyfriend, girlfriend, because in Legion in the 70s and 80s and 90s and on, that the relationships, even in the 60s, the relationships between characters is why this comic is so loved. That they find a partner. You have couples, and then eventually they marry, and some have children. And like the dual damsel, Bouncing Boy coupling is great because you buy it. It's all earned, and we're seeing the beginnings of that romance between Supergirl and the descendant of one of her cousin's greatest enemies. And Brianiac Five's a great character. He is not one of my favorite Legionnaires, but if you were to tell me I had to pick 7 Legionnaires to go on a mission, Brainiac's going. He's that intricate, and it's the beginning of a lot of characterization. I see the building blocks there, and it's a pretty good story. It's warm and fun, and it's just a simple story. I hate to say it. I keep saying that, but I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying these jumping around for these little stories. And the next one I'm doing is the introduction of Mon-El, which I'm really looking forward to. Because I don't really remember. My memories of these stories has faded, and this is an enjoyable way of bringing and refreshing myself. I think I really enjoyed it. It was quick. It had all the things. 12 pages. There's enough dialogue and enough, explaining. It's well written. Jerry Siegel writes a good kids comic book. This is fine. I don't think a modern kid would get it. I think someone going back with some background in comics would go back and read it and see for what it represents of the art form in this time. But I really enjoyed it. It was a good intro. I'm getting really used to these panels. It's the same panel layout everywhere. They have Cosmic Boy at the end of the table, and then you see 3 Legionnaires with their name placards. Hopefully, I will put one of those images up on Twitter when I post this in an hour or so, if that, so you can see it. It keeps popping up, but I ranked this kind of highly, this one. I really enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it more than I did the first Supergirl story in a lot of ways with the Legion, and I'm looking forward to going on. I'm peeking ahead, and there's a lot of great stuff coming up, but and I wouldn't have thought this issue really ranking with that, but it really did. It's such a nice, good piece of history. I'm starting to figure out when, what heroes joined where this is, because we find, when you get to the point, folks, that we find out that Supergirl joins before Superboy. She fails her test and then comes back and does it again, and it's still before he becomes a member, if I'm remembering this right. God, watch me be wrong. Marty, if I'm wrong, shout me out. But, she joined first. And it's kind of cool that they do that. I always thought that was neat, that it was kind of retroed in. But I'm enjoying these. We're going to have some good stuff. We're going to have a story with some Kurt Swan coming up. We're going to have the first adult Legion story. I don't want to skip, and I don't want to speed up, but I really am just, as we go one by one, I want to get to those that are just, the story is a Legion story. I want to get to it. I'm craving it. I want to go further. And, if I was, I do read each issue a couple times before I talk about it, even though I'm not going into the greatest of detail. But I read ahead a little bit and then I back up, but I'm savoring these. It's forcing myself to do one a week. Maybe, I'll double up at some point, but it's just, I'm enjoying it. And this one was I needed this. I needed this comic today. It was good. It was a good story to read at the end of, this day. I like to read a comic book to unwind. I got a podcast on Runcible Report with my partner Jeff. We hadn't recorded in a couple months. It was great. We talked Doctor Who. We talked cartoon animated Doctor Who. And then I got to read a Legion of Superhero comic. And I think I'll read another one. I've got a couple books out. I'm getting ready I've got this hardback Thing and the Liberty Legion. And that is going to be what I discuss on Saturday. You'll hear that. I was only going to do their first appearance. I may do maybe a two-parter. I think I'm going to do the membership, and then I'm going to read the trade and go over the trade. And I'm lining up guests to talk more Legion. I'm going to have a couple special Legion episodes in the one me and Marty did coming up. Got a couple guests, people that want to talk Legion. I'm going to read a 3-boot arc. Yes, I'm going to read the first 3-boot story. I'd like to do some Avengers stuff. If anyone out there, I kind of want to talk about the Serpent Crown affair and the Avengers because, George Perez is still in the Twitter feed. He is, he's in hospice care at home. The last announcement, he's doing good, but I want to talk about him before his comic story ends. But so that stuff coming up. But more, this is the Legion segment. I will be back next week with Superboy issue 89. And the story is Superboy's big brother. We're going to have fun with that. And until then, guys, be smart, be safe, and read some comics.